Good day to all. Welcome to Extreme Recap. The year 2007 is still young. During career day, Reed tells his class that he wants to be the first person in history to be able to teleport. In fact, he is building a teleporter in his garage thanks to his extremely high intelligence. He is scolded by the instructor and told that because he was not realistic, he failed the assignment. When Ben is called next, a disappointed reader goes back to drawing equations in his notebook. He can't resist the urge to be interested about Reed's work. Later at night, Ben is attempting to get away from his siblings' threatening and comes outside to his family's rescue shop, where he hears an odd clamor. Incidentally, Reed is searching for a power converter, which he wants for his instant transportation machine. Ben accepts the PC's offer to show him the invention if he lets him have it. Ben then Reed's garage. Ben helps finish the machine and they reactivate the machine by mounting a toy car on it, which causes the power to fail and their surroundings to shake. The toy successfully vanishes, leaving only a few rocks behind, shocking them. After 7 years, Reed and Ben present an improved version of the teleportation at the school science fair, which can both bring things back and teleport them away. Peruse gets a toy plane from a youngster and does an exhibit, really causing the plane to vanish and afterward return canvassed in sand. The basketball ring's glass is destroyed by this power surge. Tragically, the instructors believe they're doing wizardry stunts rather than real science and preclude them. Nonetheless, Specialist Tempest and his embraced girls, who also attended the fair, and the machine's readings caught their attention. Storm is employed by the Baxter Foundation, a research organization supported by the government. He reveals that his team has sent items to other dimensions as well. However, they haven't been able to get them back, so Reed is ahead of them. Reed is surprised to learn this because he had assumed that he had not sent anything to other dimensions but rather to other locations on Earth. Sasu shows him a test tube containing sand matching what's on the plane. The sand has been examined by the institution, but it does not match any particles that are currently present on Earth. Storm provides a complete Baxter Foundation scholarship. The following day, Ben assists Reed with reading, moves into the Foundation, and presents him with his Swiss Army knife, claiming that this is Reed's true home. Afterward, Reed investigates the structure to get to know it all, being exceptionally dazzled by the astounding labs in the immense. At the point when he chances upon Sue, he attempts to begin a discussion. However, Reed is unable to communicate effectively with women, so everything goes rather awkwardly. Storm, on the other hand, is discussing the expedition to a rumored new world at a board meeting. He explains that they might even be able to save their own planet if they gain access to this alternate dimension and utilize its resources. However, after reading the reports, government scientists drive. Alan notices Victor Von Doom's name and doesn't trust it because of his previous employment with the company. Before leaving Storm, he destroyed all of his data servers. Victor has a lot of potential and was the one who developed their version of the machine, so Alan is willing to give him another chance. However, Storm must promise to closely supervise him after the meeting. Storm visits Victor and tries to re-engage him. Victor initially declines, but after hearing that Reed was successful in restoring things, he changes his mind. Reed and Sue are collaborating with a team of scientists to create a larger version of Reed's, and Sue will be a member of the team back in the lab. Machine. Sue learns that Reed's model was tearing a hole in the fabric of space and time, which could result in a black hole and swallow the. So they should watch out. Sometime later, Tempest and Victor show up after presentations are made. During their previous attempt, Sue and Victor read an image they captured from the other world. Storm makes sense of that this new planet could be utilized to save their own. However, Victor does not believe that Earth should be saved. Furthermore, Sue playfully calls him Specialist Destruction for being a doubter. Johnny, Storm's troublesome son, is participating in an illegal car race at the same time. Since Speed is his best friend, he is actually doing very well. But just as he's about to win, his car's engine explodes, and he hits an electric post. Johnny racing once more disappoints Storm, who picks him up later from the hospital. Because Storm believes Johnny is destined for greater things, they argue that Johnny is wasting his potential. As a result, he tells his son that unless he works for him, he won't give him back his car. Left with no other decision, Johnny joins the group at the establishment. Weeks passed with everybody really buckling down together and framing an extremely impressive fellowship among themselves. Despite the fact that Victor notices that Sue and Reed are getting closer, he starts to feel jealous. The team finally completes the construction of the teleportation device, which they refer to as the quantum gate, after many exhausting days. Ben receives a picture of it from Reed, who expresses gratitude to Ben for everything he has done for him. The following day, Alan and the board arrive to observe a demonstration in real time. The initial organic test requires a monkey. And following a brief period of tension, they get a video feed with the other aspect, which they call Planet Zero. The monkey then returns in good health, officially proving that the experiment is safe and effective. Alan salutes the group. Alan, on the other hand, rejects the teenagers' request to proceed immediately. Makers should remain behind to control the machine. They'll send NASA men, all things considered. After the load-up leaves, Victor, Johnny, and Reed choose to have a beverage together to fail to remember their mistake. However, they continue to whine about not having access to the dimension they discover themselves, which ought to grant them rights in the first step. Reed steps forward, persuades everyone that they should use the machine on their own, and he does this while everyone else is hiding. Reed calls Ben to join them because he was also the original creator after the other two agree. Soon after, everyone changes into their uniforms and enters the machine. Pots. While Sue is working in the office, she gets a notification that the gate is being opened. She then dashes to the laboratory to check. When she shows up, the four men have previously vanished on Planet Zero. The folks are stunned by this new aspect. At the point when Reed and Ben set up the American banner, the ground breaks and uncovers a shining go-ahead underneath it. After that, they investigate the location where Victor believes the energy is coming together. Johnny remains at the top of the cliff as the anchor while the other three descend. Victor discovers a green, lava-like substance that is responding to a physical stimulus when he touches it. Victor continues to dip his hand in the substance, only for it to explode. Making the ground eject, the three men run back to the rope and climb quickly with Johnny supporting their loads. In any case, Victor falls holding tight the rope. Victor's body is covered in the erupting green substance, and Reed tries to lift him up. As a result, Reed is forced to let go of him. Victor falls back to the surface as a result of the substance melting off the rope, which is unfortunate. Peruse and Ben continue climbing until you find Johnny and can return to their pots. In any case, the reemergence isn't working at that point. Sue activates the return after receiving their signals back. In any case, she isn't quickly enough. Ben is struck by a slew of rocks and Johnny suddenly bursts into flames. When it returns, the machine explodes, sending a shock wave that knocks Sue unconscious and disrupts power throughout the city. Johnny is on fire as soon as Reed regains consciousness. Ben was also caught between the rocks. Reed starts crawling despite the fact that his own legs are caught in a pillar and he thinks he can get out. However, when he looks back, he notices that his legs are stretching unusually. The following day, he collapses at a location. 57. The scientists are testing Reed's stretching abilities through experiments. He gets too emotional whenever he wakes up. Additionally, the scientists put him back to sleep. Storm comes to see his children, and when he does, he finds Sue shifting between visible and invisible wavelengths. Johnny continues to burn. Additionally, when he awakens, he explodes in panic, making Storm feel sorry for him. A while later, Peruse awakens once more and hears Ben calling for help. To get out of the shackles, he immediately lowers his arms and crawls through the vent until he finds the room. Ben is at to understand shock. He sees Ben has transformed into a human stone at that point. His escape has been reported to the entire facility. So subsequent to promising Ben that he will sort out an answer. Reed easily makes his way out of the facility on his own, using his powers to thwart any guard who gets in his way. A while later, Alan visits Ben and maneuvers him toward feeling that Reed has deserted them. He asserts that the Area 57 government can remedy their circumstances. But in exchange, the teenagers will require assist with their administration. After a year, Ben, Johnny, and Sue have perfect control over their abilities and become valuable assets for the government. Ben in particular, who was dispatched to war zones to eliminate enemy tanks. Johnny is now able to fly, and Sue is also able to make other things invisible. She can also set up a force field. Alan discusses this with the Pentagon and suggests a second quantum gate project with the goal of granting military authority to an area. 57. Johnny and Sue quarrel over how they ought to manage their capacities. Johnny wants to use his abilities for good, like joining Ben on missions. But Sue thinks they should wait to make sure they can be fixed as promised because she doesn't want to be treated like a tool. A while later, Alan shows the Pentagon agents the quantum gate when he arrives. The officers consent to give their help to the undertaking, however just in return for utilizing Ben and Johnny more on the field. Storm hears this and could do without the possibility of the public authority involving any of his kids as weapons. So he converses with Sue and tells her they need to find Red rapidly, since he's the one in particular that can make the door work and get a fix. Sue immediately begins looking for a pattern by tracking Reed's and online movements. She learns that he has been keeping himself updated on Ben and collecting scrap metal. Presently she needs to sit tight for his best course of action quietly. Reed, on the other hand, keeps buying scrap metal and using his power to change his face each time. So surveillance cameras. He's been gathering parts to construct another entryway. But Sue is able to locate him using her intel area the next time he logs into his computer. 57 sends a group to catch Reed. However, they inadvertently trigger a security framework. Soldiers surround Reed as he sprints to the forest. Be that as it may, he's been preparing his capacities, as well. What's more, effectively battles them all when the troopers neglect to get them. They discharge Ben to get done with the task. Reed tries to explain that he has been looking for a cure and still cares. However, Ben, who is hurt, punches him in the head on the way back to silence him. Reed apologizes for breaking his promise to find a cure for everyone. Ben, on the other hand, is aware that Alan will not permit anyone to fix them because they are so useful when they arrive in the area. 57. Sue speaks to Reed and persuades him to assist them in repairing the gate, letting him know that this is an opportunity for his work to have an impact. He finally agrees to assist and immediately begins working on the quantum gate as well, albeit with greater effort than the previous time. Johnny and Red reunite when a new teleportation test is scheduled. Johnny, in contrast to Ben, is delighted to see his old friend once more. Then, the machine securely sends another team to Planet Zero, which has changed a ton during the previous year. Out of nowhere, they're stunned to see a human shape drawing nearer. Victor turns out to be the one who has somehow managed to stay here all this time. Victor is immediately taken to an examination room after Alan gives the crew the order to bring Victor back. At the point when they take a gander at him all the more intently, they find that his suit is combined with his body and the green light should be visible under. Alan guarantees Victor that he'll fix him in return for him, revealing everything he knows about the planet to them. Victor says that the place itself gave him a lot of power and kept him alive. He then acts violently and kills everyone in the room with his newly acquired telepathy. Subsequently, Victor goes out and meanders around the structure to kill everyone he can find without thinking twice. The alarm goes off quickly. Ben also believes for a split second that Reed is the one attempting to flee once more. Johnny is wary and coincidentally hits an imperceptible Sue. The siblings then go in search of their father. Victor is currently attempting to return to Zero in a storm and is attempting to stop him. When the siblings get there, they have to watch Victor brutally kill the storm. Read next. Furthermore, Ben, additionally show up and attempt to talk Victor down. However, before finally entering the machine and returning to Planet Zero, Victor simply telepathically pushes them away. There, he begins overburdening the quantum gate in order to generate a vortex that will transport everything from Earth to the other world. Sue forms a force field around herself and her two friends so that they can follow Johnny as he flies to the portal to Planet Zero in rage. Redidux concludes that the Earth's matter is being transformed into energy by observing how the vortex functions. Additionally, the only way to end it is to Victor is that Victor can easily defeat Johnny and Ben without lifting a finger as they each attack separately. To put out Johnny's fire, he covers him with smaller rocks and mud and fastens bigger rocks to Ben, making it unimaginable for him to move. Sue, on the other hand, builds a huge force field to stop the Earth's debris from entering the quantum gate. Victor sends sand and small rocks to find Sue's hiding place after noticing this. Her extra weight and the particles make her force field useless. Then Reed endeavors to work Victor out of it once more. However, his main response is to request that Reed call him destruction as he spreads the green substance over Reed's body to make him free like old elastic. Sue recovers at that point and tries to attack Victor directly. Yet, he simply nails her down. Utilizing his powers, seeing his companions near the very edge of death, regathers his solidarity and recovers control of his body, which permits him to go after Victor and lose him a precipice. Victor regains his position in a matter of seconds. However, Ben is waiting for him this time, armed with a massive rock that he throws to distract him. After that, Sue puts him in a force field that Johnny uses to burn him with his flames. Victor breaks Sue's force field with his powers, but Reed comes after him to fight him hand to hand. Due to the moment, this turns out to be yet another distraction. Ben punches Victor into the machine as he emerges from Susan with visibility. Victor is transformed into pure energy when Johnny finally destroys all of the pillars. They won the battle now that it is over. Before the gate closes, the four friends rush back to the machine to return to Earth. In the future, they were asked to serve as soldiers after the Pentagon thanked them for saving the world. However, the companions turned them down and inactive forcefully suggest things will get awful in the event that they aren't let be. At the very least, they are given a huge lab to work in. Additionally, they are of the opinion that they need to come up with a name for their team in light of Ben Reed's statement that they will be the Fantastic Four. Turn on notifications, please subscribe for more videos like this, and like the channel to support it. Thank you very much for watching.